Yeah, you don't need two of these guys screaming in your ear. One is more than enough.
I'll still see your face.
Right, well, whatever floats your boat, I guess. Um, all right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right, let's get it going. So we have an Aran, how do you say it?
I say Iran.
Okay.
I've heard of both. So
Yeah, exactly. I've heard of both. 244. You still 244?
I am, yeah. I'm waiting for the Typhoon potions from Legion Arena
Yep. Okay.
and
When is that?
the
Next week?
Star Key. It's supposed to be the 18th.
The 18th. Oh,
We'll
okay.
see. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if it actually works. Yeah, that's a positive MapleStory outlook. We will see. So, okay. And what kind of stuff are you up to? Like, what do you play? What do you enjoy?
So I started playing 4 or 5 months ago, probably like halfway through the Celestial.
Mm-hmm.
And currently, well, past few weeks I've been working on Legion, but also cleared uh, up to H Lucid in a party, and then I cleared normal will first. No hard will yet.
Okay. And the hard lucid was like in a party with people around the same level, or was that like some really strong people
Yeah,
in
it
it?
was
Or?
that was considered a struggle party. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys took a few tries to get there.
Yeah, so we've cleared twice. We did practice from before the reaction.
You're breaking up a little bit every now and then. I think your voice activation or might be maybe a
Sorry.
little low.
Let me move closer to my mic.
Oh yeah, that could fix it too. Yeah. Make sure there's a more constant stream of sound.
I'll turn off noise suppression.
Yeah, I think that I've heard that sometimes causes it as well.
But I'm an Aran, so if I don't have that on, my keyboard is really, really loud
I
and
see.
boss fights.
You do that for to save your party members' ears.
Yeah.
That's very thoughtful of you. Okay, and so that's what you've done so far. And what would you like to achieve with the character?
250 eventually,
Mm-hmm.
and then hard will, I guess. After that, I don't really know. Maybe I'll push for harder bosses. I'm not sure, but H will is, I guess, the immediate
Okay.
next goal.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably need a higher level.
Yeah, the damage reduction if you're under 250. You don't necessarily need 255, of course, but as long as the whole party's like around 250 at least, and maybe a few people are a little bit over it, then that's a good spot to be in. So with that in mind, is your general idea just not to touch your inner ability at all until you would get to 250, at least?
I don't know.
It's a hard one, right? If you don't need the attack speed up
Yeah.
there's no like immediate pressure.
Right. I don't need attack speed, but more damage would be nice. But like every time there's the Sunny Sunday discount, I'll buy like a bunch of circulators and then spend a bill or two, and then I get nothing.
Yep.
Give up. So I don't know. It seems really expensive to roll.
Yeah, it is, and that's honestly the way to go. Like, just throw a few bill at it every now and then. Just make sure you set a budget and be like, okay, I'm gonna spend 2 bill. Spend the 2 bill. If you don't get anything, you just move on and then try again next time. Because you're not really that. Like, some classes actually need crit rate in there to even get to 100 with all the other sources they have. But you have like the combo build up, right? That gives a bunch of crit.
Right. That gives 30% if I'm at 500.
Yeah,
Combo.
and you're basically always at least 500, right?
In a boss fight, yeah.
Yep. And yeah, so that can help you like bridge that gap at least.
Right.
But yeah, for some people that's not even possible, so they are more pressured to rely on their inner ability. So yeah, it's totally up to you. I'd say you don't need boss and crit in there. It's more to be able to min-max when it comes to your distribution of stats between your Legion and your hyperstat and your link skills, rather than you need it to be able to kill stuff, because you're already doing hard lucid, you're already killing normal will. That probably means within like a level of level 3, 4, or 5 levels, you'll probably be able to do hard will with that same party. How was normal will, by the way? Did you guys need a lot of practice for that, or was that pretty smooth?
Yeah, we did a lot of practice. I've cleared like 3 or 4 times in practice, and then once for real.
And are you trying to get through the boss now without or like with using your moonlight as little as possible?
Yeah, I do. I minimize it as possible. I've done hard practice, but I mean, that was, mostly other people doing the damage. I was just gonna stay alive.
Yeah, try to dodge things. Phase 2 is very fun.
Does hard charge moonlight more slowly than normal?
Yeah, way slower. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you get hit by anything, it pauses for a while as well. So you want to be able to constantly dodge. And Aran does have some things that allow them to reposition quite quickly, right?
Right.
So you can kind of like do a little bit of a stutter step back or forward without really losing too much DPS. So that's very useful.
Yeah, I'll need practice though for sure.
Yeah, and that's fine as long as you're like. Is it like with the same group that also does Lucid? Are you guys like staying together?
No, almost everyone in my guild does hard will instead. So I just hop in practice when they are practicing if they need a fill.
I see.
But once I'm, I guess, a few more levels, and then I can find a static.
Oh yeah, so that's usually through the guild and then filled with a few people, friends of people or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like.
Okay, nice. All right, I think we can roll with that. So these are equips you have now. Everything looks nice and legendary. Lots of green stuff.
Yeah, I did all of this during the last 30 to 30% cube sale.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, let's hope we get another one with unlimited quantity, because those are really nice.
Yeah, those are nice, I realize.
Especially
better than DMT, too, since if once you have everything at Legendary.
Exactly. There's so much more stuff. Once you get further into the game, you realize that just tiering your stuff up is just a very small portion of the total cost of your Star Force. It's all about the re-rolling at the Star Force. That's where the real cost is. So if you get 30% off of that, you save way more money than just 50% off of the tiering up part. But yeah, of course, it's good to have variants in events so that people who are in different stages of the game can use it to varying degrees, right?
Right. I've never seen a DMT since I started later last year, September-ish.
Yeah, so the last DMT that we had was kind of a shit show, so it just didn't work properly. There were too many people cubing, and they just didn't go through. There was too much lag. What people had to do was use a cube and then CC, and then wait for the CC to go through, and then when they landed, the cube would go through, and then they could do another cube and then CC again.
Ideally, that sounds awful.
Yeah, and then ideally either in a private channel or in a channel that didn't have that many people. But people who were in non-reboot or people who were in EU could cube just fine, but it was a problem in reboot because there were just too many people using it. And then after that, because it was so bad, they did like a compensation DMT, and then that one was even worse. So then to compensate, they gave us I don't know, I think like a few cubes and then 200% unique potential scrolls, and that was it. But yeah, so for people who were trying to get a bunch of stuff to legendary, it wasn't that great. For people who are just new to the game, getting 200% unique potential scrolls is really, really fucking good. And for people who are mainly trying to get cubes, the cube sale was limited, so that was also not really. Yeah.
That sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. So since then, it seems like they're not doing DMTs anymore, but instead doing cube sales, but with unlimited quantity. And honestly, like for me, I'd always pick a unlimited cube sale over DMT any day, especially if there's such a huge chance that the DMT goes sideways. It's not as good for people who are doing mass tiering up on new accounts. It's only 30% off versus 50% off, but in total, it's going to end up being a net positive. So,
I wonder why don't they just like make DMT the entire Sunny Sunday or something like that, and people don't.
Yeah, either the entire day or do I think what they did with the spell trace buff on non-reboot, I think that might be like a trial run to see how that goes, where basically you hold on to an item for like half an hour, and then when you double click it, you get the effect for, I don't know, for like 15 minutes or something.
Buff.
Yeah, like a buff, and then during that buff you basically have like an effect, so that could be like a DMT effect, for example. Maybe they'll do something like that, but it was like really short. It was like a 15-minute effect, but you could do it twice a day or something. Yeah, it's a little weird. The other thing would just be to do it the whole day, so people can just cube whenever, and then you won't have everyone trying to use their cubes in the same hour, because obviously that's what causes a lot of the bottleneck as well.
Right, Exxon servers can't handle.
Yeah, exactly.
Having a successful game, I guess.
Nope. I mean, they should proportionally also be investing all of that money from the success into the servers, but it seems like that's not happening as proportionally as we would want it.
I think GMS maybe is just too small. It's not a priority for.
Yeah, well, it's growing.
Apparently
in the last year, it's grown 130% or something. So hopefully that's
pandemic stuff.
Hopefully that's enough for us to get noticed.
I know I started playing because of the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because people at home quarantine, that's definitely brought a lot of people kept a lot of people in. Definitely. Okay, so let's see. Where should we start with all of this? Is there any like system in the game where you feel like you maybe not 100% up to speed with? You're already pretty far in the game, so I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah, I understand most of the mechanics, I think. I mean, there might be some things I don't even know I don't know, so...
right, yeah. Yeah, well...
One thing I haven't done before is, like, optimize using calculator. Figured.
Optimize what?
I don't have arcanes yet, or, like, optimizing WSC or stat Legion grid, because those a little bit...
Yeah,
a little bit underdeveloped, I guess. So.
A lot of times they can also be really close together, and just if you click optimize, it can tell you something different. But then maybe you finish 2 link skills, and then it swaps around again.
Right.
Sometimes it's good to.
I haven't done it.
Yep. Sorry, you keep breaking up again.
Sorry. Yeah, that's the reason I haven't really tried those yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, we could just do like one thing at a time and then just see where we end up. And usually I do like the equips last. Once we have everything else like in order. So you have a kind of farmer?
Yeah, I'm showing that at the bottom here.
And it's
kind of a bossing mule too.
Okay, yeah, because they do get kind of strong. So that's the income. So you were always finishing all of your totems on your Aran, and then you have time left.
No.
Oh no, okay.
I know, and I know you're not like kind of doesn't add that much unless you're finishing totem.
Well, it depends on how much you enjoy it, I guess.
Yeah. I like the flexibility of kind of where I can just farm a little bit here and there, instead of 2 hour spots.
No, that makes sense.
It's rare that I have the time for that.
Exactly. Or something that you can just do. Yeah, exactly. Like you do kind of like you probably have an hour, but you don't know. And then if something comes up in 5 minutes, you can just leave. And if nothing comes up, you could just watch a show and not be super attentive. Like with an Aran, you have to be a little bit more looking at what you're doing.
Yeah, Aran is I guess the end game mobbing's a little sweatier. It's more button mashy. I gotta jump around.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, sweatier. Yeah. There should be like a sweaty meter for all the classes, and like Aran would go there.
Yeah, like I've done 2 totems in one day, and my wrist started hurting.
Yeah, you got to do like those upswings at the right time to keep your momentum through the map and shit. depending on where you're going. Sometimes people train at the, is it like the light executors, and then you like zoom through the map?
I've not tried that. I saw the video of the rotation.
Yeah, you saw just from the top right all the way to the
Mm-hmm.
well, to the top left, basically. It didn't even drop that much, right? Because you just like up jump a few times, you up smash a few times in between. You don't really
Clearing
drop down.
everything as you dash across.
Yeah.
I'm doing Celis right now until I hit 245.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Salus is probably
See
quite a
if
bit
I
easier.
can do Moonbridge.
Mm-hmm. And well, that's when the familiars come in and everything, right? So, I mean, we can, speaking of familiars, I guess we can start with that. So, what's your plan and situation with those? You've got 2 IED ones. And Aran has a
Yes, I
lot
have
of IED,
two
right?
IED. Oh, we don't struggle too much
I believe you have
for
some,
IED.
yeah. You've got like a, is it like a built-in, you've got like a passive with IED and then built-in IED to your main bossing skill, right?
Yeah, yes. So I have a passive hyper skill for Beyond Blade, which is our main skill,
Yeah.
but I do not actually use that right now.
Okay. Well, because you already have so much IED, you don't even need
I
it.
have enough for what I'm like the bosses I'm attempting right now, so it's, more isn't a huge gain, I guess. But
Is there not also IED built into Beyond Blade itself?
shit. Yes.
Beyond, and how
It's
much?
like 30%.
Yeah, it's over 30% in it, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, built.
Um,
And then that's another 20 from the boost note.
yeah, exactly. So we get like 30, 20, 20 from the skill with like passive boost and built in.
Right. I'm missing the last 20 from the hyper skill.
Yeah. And
But yeah.
And you have a passive somewhere that's like a global, what is it, 30%?
I believe so. Yes, I'm looking for it.
Probably 3rd or 4th job, I assume. Remember last time we had a Aran, that was like the one thing, or sorry, Aran. It was the last thing that we talking about a lot, like how do you get to the IED, and then figured out that they had quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have a 3rd job passive 40%.
40%, yeah, exactly, yeah. So because of that, you typically don't get any on your weapon, secondary, or emblem. In the ideal
I have
setup.
one line right now. My weapon potential is a bit scuffed, I guess, but my Legion is low, and I have Arcane, so left the one line.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. If you need the so the crit and the IED, and then eventually once you swap those out, once you swap the weapon out, right, you get the arcane weapon, then you're gonna have enough to spend money on anyway. So it's not like you need to super min max on this guy.
And like I figure I'll probably re-roll my secondary eventually too.
Yeah, that'll have to do with we can do a little bit of the optimization and see how far away that is from the optimal setup. Yeah, so IED is basically just wait until Moonbridge, I guess, and then start fusing.
Yes, for the familiars.
All these other ones you have locked, what are the lines on those? Are they useful?
They're all similar. Some of them are like the same lines, but they just look different. So
I see.
Let's keep them just in case I mess them up.
And when it comes to like item drop rate and stuff, you're familiar with all of the stacking there?
Yeah. Well, the drop rate lines don't stack right now. We're at least familiar, so I can't use like large and small.
Yep. Yeah, so main upgrade.
The normal one. Is that one 50%, by the way? I've heard conflicting things. I thought it was 50%.
Yeah, I think I've also heard that it could be either. Like it could be 50. I think on rare it's 50, but on epic it could be 60, I think. Let me double check. Oh no, wait. Actually, just check exclamation mark drop rate. that has it directly. Increase item drop rate. Yeah, on rare and epic it can be 50, and on epic and unique the same line could be 60. So that's probably why you hear conflicting results, because people don't really know which one it is. Yeah.
But so it says the same thing, but it's actually...
Yeah. But if it's a rare one, then it's definitely 50%. If you get the same one on epic, then it could be 50 or 60.
Doesn't matter if it's like the first line or the second line on the potential, or is it
both can be both could be the prime line, so there'd be a higher chance, but it could still be the other one. Yeah, so if you get increased meso item and drop rate, that would be an upgrade, right? That would be 60 guaranteed. And then increase item drop rate by a large amount, that would be an increase. But yeah, then
100%.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Okay, I've heard people say 70 as well. It's 100.
Yeah, 100. That's like the old the wolf familiar from non-reboot. It's basically like the item drop rate equivalent of the Eye of Time and the Leprechaun that people used to use for Bye Station. So that's that's
I wanna
ultimate goal.
I need to get to Minbridge and start grinding epic familiars.
Yeah, exactly. Well, for that and for the higher well, not for the higher ID probably, but for the higher boss damage ones there, right?
Wait, can you get 30% IED on epic?
So this has the database. I believe Epic can get 30 IED and 20 boss, I believe. Oh, 20 boss, 30 boss, and 20 IED, 30 IED. Yeah, can get. Those all exist on Epic.
Pretty big.
Yeah.
Pretty big.
113 options. And then Unique has the extra ones. It's 35, 30, and 40. And then for boss as well, 30, 35, and 40. And then 10% item acquisition, which I've never really seen anyone have yet.
Huh. I've seen that line once. Someone showed it up. And that does stack with item.
Yep. Apparently, yeah. And the auto steal could do something, I guess.
Makes meso bags drop more.
Yeah, basically it gives you a chance to steal the meso bags before you kill it, without taking away from the total amount that would drop if you kill it at the end. So it'd be like a small net positive. But it's something like 0.25% gain to your total income per percent auto steal or something. So no, I feel
not
like
a huge difference.
No, over a large period of time it can make some difference, but like 10% total auto steal gives you 2.5% more income. Like, it's definitely something, but yeah, it's not insane, not crazy.
I was thinking of getting my Kana up to 245 as well, but competition for the maps is more intense up there, where for Arcana and up.
Is it isn't it like a little bit better now? Because I heard like a lot of the botters got banned, right?
Yeah, I heard it's a lot better now with the bots gone.
Maybe it's a good window now to get there, so that before Neo, when they remove EXP loss on death, you can have a little bit of time to to get some droplets there before all the Kanas get booted out, essentially.
Yeah, the Arcane River droplets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You'll need those. If only they did some way to like exchange droplets, or have like some kind of general store where the items are more expensive, but you can pay with both droplets or something. I don't know. Because right now,
so I'm about 50 Arcane River droplets away from being able to buy the weapon, but everyone tells me to just wait for a drop from a boss.
Yeah, because they drop from both, and because if you don't necessarily need the weapon to be able to do the content, which you don't, because you're like already doing hard lucid, so that means that hard will is just a matter of levels and practice with your team. If you don't need the upgrade, I would say don't do it, because it's the value of 2 items, and you have double the chance for the weapon drop. So once you get the weapon, you can afford 2 other pieces, and then if you add the droplets from around the Neo shop with that, then you buy the shoulder and buy 1 more item there, and then boom, you have your full 5 set.
All right. I'm just afraid that I'm not gonna get a drop for a while. I don't know
Yeah.
what the drop rate looks like for it. Do you have any idea?
It's hard to say. All I can say is definitely that since the changes, I see way more drops, for sure. Like before, like because I run 2 runs a week on my, so I do both the bosses on my Demon Avenger, both the bosses on my Arc, and now I do both the bosses as well. Like 1 on my Marksman, 1 on my Hero. So I do like 6 runs now, and I do a few hard Damien runs and like 1 hard Lotus run, and then every now and then a hard Will run. But like in general, before there were sometimes like a week or 2 where no one got a drop in like any of those runs, and now it's pretty much at least every other run that one person gets one, but more often than not it's like pretty much every run at least someone gets something, and sometimes people get 2. One time even there 3 people got a drop in 1 run. So there's definitely a big increase. I wouldn't be surprised if the base drop rate just got doubled or something. I wouldn't be surprised.
So it sounds like 10-15%.
Yeah, well, you have 6 people in there. Yeah, so there's I would say there's more than 50-50 chance that someone gets something in a run. I would say definitely, yeah.
Because our 2 hard lucid runs, or the 2 that I've done so far, nobody in the party got a drop. But it could just GMS.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, you've probably used a few epic potential scrolls before. They say 50-50, but
Yeah.
but sometimes you fail 13 in a row, and then you're like, is it really 50-50 though?
Failed I think 8 or 9 of the 70% potential scrolls in a row.
Oh yeah. I think I had that last time. Like I did use like 3 or 4 that worked, and then one kept failing. I was like, wait, is my item bugged? Because like 6, 7, and then it finally
I
worked.
it was
Like,
bugged too.
You ever see the video of the guy with the potential stamps? And the stamp
I
failed.
have not 50 or 80%.
Well, he had like both. He used like a whole stack of gold ones, and it all failed. And he went to the Genesis store and be like, "Wait, is this item broken?" And he just kept buying stacks of silver, and he kept failing until he was just broke. And in total, he used like 200 plus stamps or something, and the item was just bugged.
That is.
And he ran out of money.
That sounds like a bug, right?
Yeah, that was definitely broken. Like just
Okay.
statistically completely impossible to fail that many. But yeah, that was interesting to see. So you know that can exist in the MapleStory. So okay. Oh wait. So just to clarify, like, so what about because you have yourself buffed and then more burst buffed, right? What is
the first one is unbuffed. Second one is buffed in burst. Wow.
Yeah, in adrenaline. So what's the difference between just regular 100% uptime buffed and not adrenaline? What is the major difference? Because you're not adrenaline for that much, right? Because you have your hyper skill.
Yeah, adrenaline is uptime's not that high.
You can have it full uptime for hard lucid, right? That's why hard lucid burst is pretty good for Aran.
Yes, for the 40 seconds. Yes.
Yep. But how hard is it to? How hard is it the time getting to 1,000 like right at the start of the hard lucid, like the phase 3?
Well, I time it to 900, 900 plus, and
then you gotta just hop around.
Yeah, and then I just fuck off for
yeah,
until we trigger or phase it, and then
yeah.
I use Maha's Fury that adds 100, puts me into adrenaline. And then once that ends, I pop the hyper adrenaline immediately.
You remember the old combo system? Oh no, did you ever play back then when Aran just came out?
No.
Basically, every single hit on one monster built you one combo, and if you way when it started, and when you didn't hit anything for 5 seconds, your entire combo was gone. And you had to start back from 0.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
It was really unforgiving. If you just like played an EU and you lagged enough, you just lose your entire combo. Yeah. Brutal.
But the first part, every hit on a monster would be a combo that would keep close to 100% uptime for mobbing.
Combo King medal, yeah. Medal if you hit a certain amount of combo, and there was one for, was it 30,000 or 3,000 or something? Was the biggest number? Oof, yeah. Some people would just like stand in a corner of a map and put like really weak gear on and just like key wait while they were sleeping, so that when they woke up they had the number or something.
What?
Some people scum their way through that to that medal. I did it the real way, and I had you fail a bunch of times, like 80% of the way, and you got to start all over. Oof.
I actually came from MapleStory too, and yeah, there were achievements for hitting certain combos and EXP bonuses.
Because is it shit? There's like a big difference. Well, not that big a difference, I guess, in damage bonus. That's 35% difference.
I would say so. Wait, buffed. I'm showing how much range? Like 15 mil. Without adrenaline, it's 13, 14.
And where is that mainly coming from? Is that final damage?
Yeah, so adrenaline rush gives it gives a lot of buffs. Increases your skill damage by a lot of points.
Crit damage?
No, skill damage.
Okay.
Don't think it affects crit damage.
Oh no, the crit damage is just from sharp eyes. Yeah. Okay. And what does that other thing do? The swing buff, is that when you hit something?
That's if I use smash swing, which is tied to my basic attack, it triggers
final damage
buff. Yeah. It's 15% final damage. It boosts your other skills a little bit.
Right. That's why you swing it in between, like, beyond blades, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So you can get like 3 final blow beyond blade combos, 3 or 4.
Yep.
You have to cast it.
And then you have to cast it out. Okay. To optimize your DPS. But that's not visual final damage, right? Or is it?
Let me try it right now. It is. Yes.
It is.
It
Okay.
shows in the stats.
Okay. Good. Okay. Okay, good. But yeah, so did you have any questions specifically familiar-wise, or can we move on from these?
Yeah, I guess we can move on. I need to hit Moonbridge and start grinding there.
Yeah, everything else is pretty clear. Okay. Matrix, I don't know if you have any questions with anything here. Seems like you've got all your skills. I guess Beyond Blade is like the most important by far there, right? And then Final Attack, I guess, is useful.
So yeah, like Final Blow, Final Attack, Beyond Blade are your 3, and Hunter's Prey.
How's that Prey? How's Prey working now? Because they changed that, right?
Oh yeah, it feels great. It does like 100+ lines and feels good.
I always had trouble with those finisher skills, because sometimes I feel like I did the combo perfectly and nothing would happen, and sometimes you have to like pause or something and then it would work.
Yeah. When I was grinding, well, Aran was my first character. When I was going for 200, just level 200. Yeah, I messed it up a lot. It's kind of a feel thing almost. Sometimes you have to pause a bit and then hit your basic attack again to actually trigger it.
Exactly. It says that
Hunter's Prey is pretty reliable. The other one, the Tornado, can be a little weird sometimes.
Well, I mean, if one of the two has to be unreliable, it's better be not the one that's an iframe as well, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever use it as your iframe?
Yes, but it's very unreliable because you have to be in Adrenaline Rush.
Oh, okay.
And you need 4 key inputs to actually trigger it, right? So it's not just like $1 to hit a button.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And then you have Freud's. Yeah. So Freud's is your iframe for going in, and then Hunter's Prey or something, right? That's the name?
Hunter's Prey.
That's
the one I use during the fight. It's, if it's a really telegraphed attack, like say Lucid Dragons.
That's long enough. You could just pop that and then stay through the whole breath.
It's up to, if you charge it, it lasts up to 7 seconds.
Okay, that's pretty good. And then the other one, you have like a little bit of a soft teleport, right?
Yeah, I don't use that one when bossing at all. Maybe, I don't know if people.
I see people use it to go through Lotus lasers, for example.
Oh, interesting. No, I wouldn't do that though. For Lotus lasers, I would rather use Hunter's Prey because that iframes me through the lasers,
Mm-hmm.
and it does a lot more damage to help burst through P1 for Lotus.
I guess if you're strong enough to just do like, walk to the side on one laser and then Hunter Spray, then jump through 2 more lasers with the iframe and then be done, then you don't have to get fancy or risk anything.
Wait, are you talking about Judgment Draw then?
I think so. It's like an axe that like slashes down diagonally, right?
Yeah, that's Judgment Draw. I do use that for dodging lasers, but it's not an iframe. It's more like a mini teleport, I guess.
It's like a teleport, which kind of works as an iframe sometimes, right? It's like the dash from Arcs, where it's not an iframe, but you can use it to dash like through Lotus lasers, through the sickles in Lucid, right?
Right.
Because I was kind of like trying to get a feel for like what are your iframes and what do you like. So you have like a pseudo iframe, one that takes you like 2 minutes to charge with a fucking 5-minute cooldown, and then another one that's actually your burst damage. Right. So that's it's not an optimal situation, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's the biggest weakness of Aran is don't have a lot of like reliable ways to just dodge.
At least you have a bind now.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's what. Is that a lot of extra bonus damage as well with the ice blocks and stuff?
Yes, it's big. It's huge as part of my burst. Obviously, the bind itself is only 10 seconds, so if you're Kana, it's useless. But
if you're soloing, it's still better than relying on Nova.
So for party bosses, it's mostly just burst skill, and I have to time it after the Kana bind, so I don't cut them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or that's the worst thing where people's iframes are also their binds are also an iframe, and then they have to pop it to not die, and then they accidentally bind the boss, and then
like
Lumi has
Kadena,
that.
I guess.
Yeah, Kadena, Lumi. I don't know if there are more classes that have that. No, mainly those two.
40-second BA, the Blizzard bind is about 17% of BA, right?
That's not bad at all for a bind skill. My arc bind skill does not do that much, let me tell you.
Yeah, because it adds the ice chunks buffs that basically triggers on all of your other attacks and stuff.
Is that kind of like the ice after image? Because you have another skill, right? That creates like an ice after image smash after every few attacks.
Yeah. No, that one, the one you're talking about, I think is part of Beyond Blade, right?
It's like a ice storm like around you every now and then. I think it's
Maha's Fury, maybe?
I think so. I think it's Maha's Fury because you have when you just smash the whole map, and that's just like a short cooldown, right? That's the blue one, I think.
Yeah, that's Carnage. Yes.
Yeah, and then the yellow one, that's Maha's Fury.
Yeah. That one does. So it gives you. Just paste it in.
No. Oh.
Yeah, it sends out little mini tornadoes around you.
Yeah, and that's the one you use to trigger your adrenaline rush on part 3.
Right, it gives 100 combo, so yeah, it can be used.
31% attack. Oh, that's quite nice.
Mine's not maxed yet, but I think it gives 35 at level 30.
Yeah, it looks like 1% per level. Oh, so that's definitely something. Yeah. So that's another thing. Like when you're min-maxing for your for the things you were talking about, right? Throwing into a calculator. There's 2 things you can do. You can min-max for a certain situation, and you can min-max for. So you can min-max for DPS, and you can min-max for DPM, basically. And if you're min-maxing for DPS, like for Hard Lucid and maybe for like Hardwell Burst situations, then you'd have to calculate in the percentage attack from this guy, for example, because it'll be up in important situations. But if you're looking for DPM, mainly for solo bossing, longer boss fights, then over a longer period of time, of course, then it's not then it's not as impactful. Although, wait, it has 40% uptime at max level. Is it that long?
Yeah, 60 seconds out of 150. Yeah, that's 40%.
That's pretty nice. It's pretty reliable. That's a short cooldown. That's really cool, actually. Yeah, I think Aran is one of
adrenaline burst.
Sorry, what did you say?
It's better than the hyperskill adrenaline burst. That one, the cooldown is so long.
Yeah, is it 4 minutes?
4 minutes. Yeah.
Ugh. If it was just like a little bit shorter but was like a 2-minute cooldown, that'd be way better, right?
Yes. Just a little more reliable.
Mm-hmm. Because they did that to the Beast Tamer skills, right? Because those were like, super long duration and then 5-minute cooldowns. Like, bro, like, just cut the duration a bit and cut the cooldown in half so we can actually use it more than once in a fight. Yeah, that's kind of my problem with. Do you know Revenant for Demon Avenger?
Is that the one that keeps you at 1 HP?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the more damage you take, it shoots out like spears from your body, basically. So you try to get hit more, and then you shoot out extra hits, and then afterwards you take like a percentage of the damage back that you got during the skill. But like that one is so that I think a 40-second duration, I think, but it's like a 5-minute cooldown. So it's like, ugh. If you're doing hard lucid and hard will with a strong party, you can maybe use it twice in a boss fight, and then it's. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of classes have V skills like that, where it's really strong but such a long cooldown. Aran is, I guess, lucky in that sense. All of our V skills are, except for Blizzard, I guess, is pretty low, relatively low.
And your that Fenrir dude that also gets boosted by the other one, right? By the boost node.
Yes. So Fenrir Crash, which is like basically the 4th hit of Beyond Blade. That is boosted by Beyond Blade.
And that's knockdown resistance, right?
Not exactly. It's so if you start your combo, the command triggered like final blow before going to Beyond Blade, then you get super armor back by throughout the combo, including through.
Sorry, you're breaking up a little bit. I didn't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, it's if you start the combo with the command, it gives you.
Okay, only then.
Yeah. So if you're not attacked like during will, basically I like to attacking in P2 because that stops me from getting knocked back into the webs.
Yeah, that's
Even if we're waiting for test and there's no doing damage. I can charge my combos. I can stop.
Okay, I'll fill in the blanks myself. Wait, you use attack micro with. What is this up hit with final blow?
Oh, I saw this in Sacrix's Aran video actually, so I tried it.
Mm-hmm. Did it work?
It works, but for the maps that I'm training at, I don't.
Map reliant combo.
Yeah, it's mostly for mobbing.
Okay.
To save your fingers.
I see. For the long, if you're in there for the long run.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see for your Legion grid and everything. So you have like mobbing and bossing setup, or is this for mules and for main setup more?
Yeah, our left one's for Aran, right is for everyone else, like Kana and Mule.
I see.
Someone in your chat just said Fenrir gains an additional attack at max. Did not know that.
Oh, like an extra line? At 30?
That's how I'm interpreting it. I don't know.
Is it Fenrir Smash? What's it called?
Fenrir Crash.
Crash? Yeah, Crash. Oh yeah, number of attacks 7 at level 30, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, and that one also has 50% additional monster defense ignore and 100% crit. Oh, that's always very nice.
Good to know.
Oh, and then the iceberg that he creates still hits only 6 times though, but the initial hit is 7 times, which is of course a very nice increase. 650% damage. Nice. Yeah. Did you want to say something?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So Legion-wise, there's definitely some space for growing. You have a list of which ones you're already working on, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Level 3 links. Are you trying to aim for level 3 links eventually?
I don't know. I really dislike working on Legion. It's time consuming, and I don't make much mesos from it, but I know I guess I have big room for gains there. I mean, I have like 2 level 3 links. I'm working on my Lumi to level 3 as well because of the bonking event. I don't know. I'll probably do a few level 3 links, but it's not what I enjoy. And maybe if I fund them a little more, they're stronger.
I would say in general, level 3 links is more worth it, I would say, when you're going for 8k. If you're aiming for 6k initially, I think level 2 is fine. You'll get a few to level 200, either for like a really good double S rank for Legion, or if there's a Terra Burn, or possibly both overlap there. But unless it's really, really necessary, or you really, really enjoy the class, I would settle on level 140 for now and try to go down the entire list and get everything to 140 first. And then circle back and see if you want to spend a little bit more time on a character.
So far, like the only 210s I had, Beast Tamer was my Terra Burn. Mercedes, I had gotten her to 180 with the Sengoku event with the little horse riding lips stuff. And so I was like, okay, well, I might as well do it to 210, and I hated that.
Hated every minute of it.
Yeah. Like, I thought Aran was combo heavy, but Mercedes, more key inputs to worry about. So.
Yep.
And then Jet, I got to 200 as well, just because I had bunked it up to 180, and then I was like, well, might as well for the crit damage.
What's your plan for the bunking now? Like, are you working on any of those at this moment?
So I just bunked Lumi to 180, and so same as Mercedes, I'm like, well, I could just do 1 totem to 200, and then 2 or 3 totems to 210. And then that'll help for my next Legion Arena season, I guess.
Yeah, if they have the same...
if they do season 2.
Yeah, and if they have somewhat the same balance, maybe they'll fix it, quote unquote, and then, break some OP ones and make some underpowered ones OP. I don't know. There's always a chance things change a bit.
Yeah, things could change. Hopefully Kana's still good, but...
The other thing that would be nice to bonk would be like Shade or Hayato. I don't know how much you're into those, because that's also critical damage, right? Gains 2%
so
crit
Shade,
damage.
I'm actually prepping for bonking since my Lumi is 180. I don't know if I want to bonk that anymore.
Yeah, there's definitely diminishing returns past a certain point, yeah.
I got like 1 level from bonking 4 days in a row.
That's
felt bad.
Yeah, that would feel bad, yeah. It's not really fair, but, that's RNG.
Right. Like everything in me.
Yeah, I've been like almost everything, yeah. I mean, even staying logged in is RNG, so. Or being able to log in, stay in, not DC during a boss, yeah. A lot of these are RNG heavy.
Do you crash? I actually don't think I've seen you crash on stream.
It's been a while. There was definitely a time where we had to make sure that between every single boss, everyone logs off, completely full shutdown, relog everything. Otherwise, there was like a 50-50 chance that at least one person would crash, and they'd have to go again, and then a second time someone else crashes, and then there were like
Oof.
weeks where we'd have to run every single boss like 3 or 4 times before we finally got it clear with everyone in there, and it was absolute torture.
That sucks. Yeah.
Because you just lose 2 or 3 hours a week of like setting it up, finding another time where everyone can go, and it's like, Yeah,
I probably crash like once a day on average. Yeah, especially like after I go for MVPs and like I'll stack up all my buffs, and then as soon as I change, crash it.
Yeah, like I don't go for MVPs.
It's probably a good call.
It's like if it's like if I see that there's an MVP going to be soon, or someone is calling one, I'm already on the character, I'll be like, okay, let's go, and then I'll take the first MVP, and then that's going to be it. I won't go back for another one or CC a bunch of times for another one, because that's just too high risk. It's CCing and it's switching characters that leads to a lot of the memory leak. Yeah, I always have my task manager open so I can always see like, okay, what amount of RAM is MapleStory using? Like, am I in the danger zone? Yeah. It's an interesting way to play a game.
What's the danger zone for?
Like 1.9, like 1,900 megabytes and up is that's when it starts getting dangerous. Yeah, and if you're ever like approaching 2, there are certain situations like during boss fights when everyone's like going ham, it can go that high. If you're doing like Ursus and Legion dailies, right? Like there's a lot of characters in there, a lot of things going on. Even if it's not visible, it's still lagging your system. But like after, you have to notice that it goes back down. Like it goes back to like 1.3, 1.5, something like that. If it stays up at like 2.1, then something's tricky, and then it's a good thing to just restart your game before you do a boss or before you do a long training session.
Right. I have a checklist before I do bosses or training that includes restarting. Yeah, memory leaks have ruined my runs several times.
Yep. I'm at 3 gigs. Should I worry? Yes. You should split your game in 2.
Yeah, 3 is crazy. Maybe if we have 64-bit client.
We used to do like a few weeks ago, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, I think. With the guild PQ, we instead of checking like how many points we get, we would like race to see who could get the most amount of RAM during the run, and then see who would crash first. Yeah, we could stay online the longest with like 2.8, 2.9. Sorry, I can hear what you said. Sorry.
Oh, the GPQ channels are still laggy.
Yeah. Apparently, other my guildies that I do the hard bosses with on the DA said that a bunch of their people crashed during today's run, or yesterday's run technically. Yeah, so we run tomorrow, so hopefully it won't be too bad. But yeah,
my guild has basically like restricted GPQ to just the top 20% of people, so that not so many people are going in at the same time.
Yeah, it's maybe better. And it'll create like a little bit of a competitive atmosphere as well, right? Where people are trying to get in, people trying to beat other people by getting into the boss fight. It's maybe, sometimes you need some reinforcement.
Yeah, I'm very far behind that.
Oh, I mean, once you're at hard lucid, hard will, get some arcane drops. Neo updates.
Just get the drops. I wish. I don't know. I'm really unlucky with drops. Like. I had to buy my superior stuff.
All of it?
No, just the belts. Because I got so I did the math like earlier. It was I've gotten 6,000 coins on 2 characters, like Helix coins, and only seen 1 superior drop.
Oof, that's not a good metric.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, what's going to happen with my arcanes? If I have the same luck there, it could be years.
Yeah, I think it was unironically a little bit more than a year before I got my first drop running 2 characters every week.
That's just unfair, right? Because
well, what's really unfair is that I got 4 drops on my DA and they're all weapons when I already bought my own weapon before. So that's what's really unfair.
That sucks. Wait, start forcing backups, I guess.
Yeah, but it's not my main anymore. Like I would consider maybe playing it more if I could get the full arcane set, but I'm not gonna drop a bunch of money on a higher Star Force weapon when there's so much other stuff I can upgrade on.
Right.
I don't know. I guess the other characters are slowly getting to the point where they're kind of reaching that cap as well. So maybe we'll circle back. But DA is gonna need some more love before before I invest heavily in it.
Yeah, I heard we have a DA in our Lucid party, and they say it's a struggle.
Yep, that's putting it mildly. So for Links and Legion, do you have any questions on like advice on what to go for, or do you pretty much have it all figured out?
I just hate Legion, and it's a chore for me to grind it. So like I made Jet, so the last 3, Jet, Ilium, and Ho Young, I made basically at the start of the event. Grinded them to 140 or something.
Is it? Do you do it in one session, or do you do it like one character at a time, or?
Do one character at a time. I typically do one character in 3 days. I'll spread it out a little bit.
So like
I'll buy like one rock for 3 days.
Like 1 to 70, and then to 100, and then to 140, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
What I usually do is I make a character to like 70 or something, right? And then the next day get it to 100, and then do Zakum, and then I just ditch the character and move on to the next one. And then I just come back every day, just log in, do Zakum, log out again. And then slowly, weeks over like weeks, it'll go to 140. But the actual experience you get from just logging in, doing Zakum, and logging out is way more than you can get training. You don't have to worry about totems. You don't have to really worry about your links or your Legion. You don't really have to worry about all of those. And that's what helped me in the past. Also, way back when I did this, you had 2 Zakum runs a day, so it was also twice the speed back then.
Wait, why did they change that?
I don't know. It's around the same time when they changed that all the bosses, instead of dropping meso bags, started dropping the crystals and stuff. They changed that as well.
Do you pop buffs before doing these Zakums, or go straight in?
So in the beginning, like at the lower levels, I would like look for sometimes especially if I had dual runs, like I would look for like a rune, right? If I could do that, look for a rune and then jump in and do the runs. But if you want to save time, the thing is more like just like there's power in numbers there. So if you have like 4 or 5 characters, you're doing that on a day. You make like one character and then you do a few Zakum runs and then boom, done with Legion. Move on to the fun stuff.
Okay. So you don't do Monster Park at all then?
I did that for a bit, but then I started seeing the value in doing Monster Park on the same character instead to try to get a bunch of 7-day Monster Parkers. So then I moved into doing that instead. But definitely at the lower levels, or I would keep that to characters that are like really slow, where you just really want to get done and crossed off the list. You can throw a few Monster Park runs in there, because it is a lot of experience on low levels for sure. Do you have that medal, by the way, since we mentioned it here?
Oh, I should have it. Let's see. All right.
Oh yeah, you're really, really close.
Yeah.
So next Saturday? Or is that for this Saturday?
No, so one more week next Saturday.
Nice. Okay, cool. Finally, more ID.
Yeah.
You desperately need.
Might as well. Right?
Yeah, of course. Might as well. Then you definitely won't be in any trouble if you finally redo the weapon.
Right.
Yeah,
so that's 40% line.
Yeah. Yeah, that's usually how I did the Legion stuff.
So I guess my question here would be, what do you think about my priorities? I guess for the next ones that I haven't. So I'm gonna bonk Shade and maybe Hayato.
Yeah.
Like the ones I have listed after Ho Young were kind of the rough characters that I was thinking of doing next. It's those reasonable. Is there anything big that I'm missing?
Kadina's a very good link. If you don't need the knockback resistance from Mihail.
Mihail's for my Kana mainly.
Yeah.
I was gonna wait for like the next Terra Burn before doing that, since it has the level 3 link.
Yeah, and then the other ones you would all just get to 140. Probably, right? Yeah, did you say about 200 cases, good damage. Yeah, the marksman nightmare for crit rate. Yeah, you're aware of the links grid that I have.
Yes, I've used that extensively to put this together.
I see a lot of those names in about the same general order. Is wait, oh no, Arc is here. Yeah, Arc is another one that did you find Arc fun or no? It's you have it marked as slow. I see.
Oh, that's a mistake. No, Arc is fine. I think. Well, you're the Arc main, so.
Yeah, I think it's fine, but it's not
that's
for
a
everyone.
mistake, a typo. I bumped it up to 180 actually, so potentially could go for the level 3 link and the STR, the Strength Legion, but
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's a little bit complicated, I guess. I found it a little bit complicated managing the gauge, and so I don't know if I'm actually doing that right or not, but.
Yeah, for the gauge, I mean, basically wait until it's like fully filled up. Make sure that you refresh your 4 spell bullets to make sure that the buffs have optimal duration, and then just switch into Spectre and just dash through the map and just destroy everything, I guess.
So do you, like, for mobbing, do you toggle between Flora and
I put everything on auto.
Spectre? Yeah, I have auto as well.
Yeah, spell bullets and the not impending death, but the other ones, yeah, always on auto. So that if you just hit some monsters, the spell bullets just fly around, hit everything, and then, I mean, the spell bullet for the abyssal isn't even important, right? Because that's boss damage and IED. So whether that hits or not when you're mobbing, it's not really important. It's more about the AOE of the skill. That's a bit more of a vertical hitbox, which is otherwise very lacking from the Flora mode. Like you have the diagonal one, but with the unstoppable impulse, but you don't have really a vertical hitbox. That's the only thing that abyssal charge does for you. Yeah, but once those buffs are up, basically just go into Spectre and then just dash around a lot, kill things with Spectre form. Don't neglect using your unstoppable impulse, your dash. You could dash twice or even 3 times if you have the hyper skill level. It's very good damage, and it moves you through the map while you're killing. So it has a pretty short cooldown as well. The one thing that I noticed was the most important thing was to basically make it so that you could take all your skills, put them all visible on the bottom right in the hot menu, just always see where they are. And in the beginning, that's very important to get a good feel for, like, okay, when can I use certain skills?
Okay.
But once you kind of get a good feel for, well, what it also helps is it helps you kind of figure out where the buttons are. And if after a while you find that either your hand hurts or you keep fucking up or you just can't make it work, then just put them on a different button and just try something else until it just makes sense, where you're not really just looking at the bottom right, seeing like, oh, what button is it on, but your hands just know what they're doing. And it takes some getting used to. I really actually didn't like Arc in the beginning at all. I thought it was too many buttons to manage, too many cooldowns, too many skills. Yeah. But until but I just thought the character was so strong that it was like, there's got to be something here. Like, it is still kind of fun to do. So that's when I got more into like just throwing skills around, and I probably moved my skills around like 5-6 times before I felt like, okay, this makes sense.
Okay.
So this is like the general. I have like ASD, well, but whatever, if you use like 1, 2, 3 or use QWE more, to have like the 3 skills, the 3 charges with like ascending cooldown. Right? 'Cause this one doesn't have cooldown.
Yeah, I do that. I like to do that.
And then this one is on C, so it's almost like they're in a row, but F is typically my bind key, so I like to keep keys with similar functions on similar keys. So Shift is now typically my iframe that I need. That is a reliable short cooldown iframe that I can tap quickly. Main attack is usually on Control and A. Q is something that is necessary, not all the time, but that I need like quick access to. And then my dashes and stuff like that are usually on V and B and around here. And then like either a key down or an AoE short-ish cooldown skill is usually on spacebar. So that's where I started with, and basically because of I ended up with this on the arc, I moved all the other characters to like a similar key setup so that I can switch between characters quickly. But that's more useful if you're really going for 8K Legion, because then all the other characters, you'll start introducing all the other hyper skills as well. And you're going to be grinding a bit more, and then it's useful to, you know, be able to switch from one character to the next and log in and like start pressing some weird keys all the time. Wasting your cooldowns.
Yeah, I use a similar like philosophy for setting up keybinds for mules. Basically like what you described, but with different keys.
Yeah. Of course, you don't have to use like AFSD. Some people play a lot of League, so it makes more sense to use QWER. Other people use 1, 2, 3, 4 more. I used to play very, very long time ago. So for me, like F1, F2, F3, F4, like that's the faces, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the chat. Like that's just that's just baked into me. Slowly over time, I've been moving more keys out of the way. Like I've been moving my stat window got moved, like because that was on S for a long time, but I was like, that's a pretty like pivotal key there in the middle of the whole blob. Like I need that button, right? I still have the world map and I still have equipment. I put the interact key on world map during like will, so I can have my NPC chat button closer, for example. And then I put it back on Y for communications and for NPC chat, because that's way faster. Yeah, whichever works for you. I have my base attack on 6, but like I still have pickup on Z, which you use sometimes, but you have pets all the time, so that's something I'm probably gonna try to move away from soon. Yeah, sooner or later.
I have to put my basic attack key on a more central location, since that's critical for Aran.
Yeah, exactly. You need the access to that a little bit better. Yeah, true. Yeah, but I guess that's my general advice. I would definitely say that Kadena would be a very good addition, because you do keep a debuff with the slow, right? With the ice slow.
Yes.
That counts as a debuff, and then if you're
our toggle buffs, yeah.
And if you're a higher level, that's a 12% damage doc. Yeah, Arc definitely has a potential level 3 for both the double S Legion and for the level 3 Link, which is very easy to keep up. And then other than that, I guess start looking at everything that gives you strength that you don't have yet, and start working your way through those.
Are there any other key Link skills I'm missing? I don't think so.
Don't resistance. How stacked are you resistance wise? No, you have all these, right?
Resistance, I only have level 4 in 4 seconds, but
yeah. Because the blaster.
Yeah, I don't have a Xenon or blaster yet.
But Xenon doesn't give that, right? It's blaster, wild hunter, battle mage.
You're right.
And mechanic.
Yeah. This the citizen.
Yeah. Mechanic, wild hunter, blaster. So you're missing battle mage then there if you want to max out on that skill.
It's not a priority, I guess.
I think level 6 is pretty good. Yeah.
6? Oh. Yeah. Maybe I'll do a blaster, since it has the small amount of IED in the Legion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad. Good blaster. Blaster feels a little weird and weak in the beginning, but then you figure out that you can press 2 skills at the same time, so you can do like the other attack while you're doing the other attack, so you're basically like double punching, and then it's actually really strong. The mobility is a little bit chunky until you get the whole bob and weave thing down, which I never did. But you could just jump around and spam the other 2 keys, and you're basically like double punching. It's almost like an arc who attacks like twice with every attack kind of thing. So he actually did like pretty big chunks of damage. And as you feel probably, right, that your Lynx and your Legion are basically carrying your new characters quite a bit.
They are.
Oh, and the other thing you can do, I don't know if it's available for your guild, if you like temporarily put a mule that you maybe don't like training as much in the guild, so you can alternate between the boss damage and the crit damage skills, so you can train a lot faster. That can also be very useful.
Yeah, I like doing that.
Don't know if there's like free spot, but you have to be 24 hours in there now before you can use the skill, so you have to plan ahead a little bit.
Right.
It's a little unfortunate, but you know, I don't know why they wanted to implement that, but you know. Okay, yeah. I mean, we can talk about everything all day, but let's get you helped and forward, because I don't think you got your money's worth yet. So we okay with just talking specifically equip-wise?
I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about
No,
next.
no, no. This is your show. This is you requested this.
We could do equips, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So are there any equips specifically where you don't know? You're like a little bit hesitant to move the next step, or you don't even know what the next step is. What would be the good move?
Let's see.
Because this one is that. That makes sense. Weapon is going to come in. This can be temp. Then that will reroll. Specifically if you get boss in the familiars. And if you get a third familiar in there. Because you only have 2 familiar slots, right?
Yeah, there's 2 right now.
Yeah, that's fine for now. The badge is technically a bit stronger than the other one if you don't have the set bonus, but you have the set bonus, so it's not. Rings are at 18, 18, 17. Dex trap. What's your drop set looking like? Is it like 5 and 4? You have any double?
Yes. Wait.
1 pendant.
5 meso lines. 3. 4.
Oh, you have 1 double, so it should be 5 and 5, or?
No, I'm missing my eye accessory, which is going to be my black bean mark. It's going to be dropped for me. But that's after I find a pet mark, which is not happening.
Nope.
But yeah, you see I have another black bean mark that I'm going to transfer into the pet mark and transpose into Sweetwater.
Yep. Okay. You have 2 tattoos, 1 with double, 1 with that. 2 attack, 18, 18. The backup hat for when you get the weapon.
Oh, the hat, I also want to make a CD reduction hat. I heard it's good for mobbing for Aran because our Carnage thing is really good for mobbing.
Your is it the full map smash thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's a pretty short cooldown, then you can spam it even more. It's just so satisfying when he's like, he's just like, the whole map just boops. Yeah. Really
if I had that more often, mobbing would definitely be a little easier. My so I can clear, the screen. But so I don't know what to do with that. I was thinking, so once I get arcane weapon, then I switch to Abso hat. And then so I could re-roll my hat, my CRA hat for CD, and then once I have full set arcane, which could be months away, then I switch back to CRA for damage. Roll the Abso for cooldown. I don't know. It's my idea, I guess.
Yeah, and then re-roll that one for damage again. Well, ideally you roll like 2-second cooldown and then 18 or 21 attack, so you 18 or 21 strength, so you could just use it all together.
That's true.
That's probably like the best of both worlds, so you don't have to squiggle back and forth. But most likely you'll just get like what my hero has, like 2-second cooldown and then 9% strength and then something else that's just junk. Yeah, it depends on how min-maxy you're gonna need to be, depending on all the other gear. Just 1 line of cooldown reduction and 1 line of strength will probably already be really good. And as long as all the other stuff is like better on point. So should we take this like one type of upgrading at a time, like either flames or Star Force or cubing? Because I could tell that like by where everything is at, you're pretty on top of like the order in which you do things, like the balance between the types of upgrading.
Yeah, I think my biggest gains next are Star Forcing.
Yeah, the question is how far and on which items, right? Those are the main things. So when it comes to items that you have high risk for pushing and limited gains, well, not limited gains, but like just the very high risk ones, and limited profitability, right? That would be like your Abso stuff. It's high risk if you blow that stuff up. Having to, restart from 12, having to do all the weeklies again. Ugh. But of course, there are big gains to be made. But the question is also like, how quick are you moving into Arcane? And then when you do, all of this is just, you can't transfer anything. It's just sitting there in your inventory, gathering dust, and all of that money is invested. And on top of that, do you need that upgrade or do you want that upgrade? So that's the question for all of the upgrades that you can do. So therefore, I think there's way more value in, you can push the Abzo if you want to like 18. Typically, this is where I use up a calculator to kind of like just see like what are the risks, what are you talking about here? You don't need to do that, of course, but if you're going from 17 to 18 on Abzo, of course we star catch because it's only 1 star. Damn right. With safeguard, let's see, we do that during a 5, 10, 15 in case something goes down, right? The chance for booming is like, I mean, there is a chance for boom, right? But even the very unluckiest person booms 2, and it's like a 0.07, and 95%, like 85% do it within 0 booms, 95 within 1 boom. It's not that expensive. You could see like is 19. But this is like the way they make those decisions, right? Because like at 19 it's 0.3. That means if you're doing 4 items, that there's like pretty much 1 is gonna boom, maybe even 2, right? So that's already like way more risky. But just like 0.07, 0.06, like if you're doing 5 items, that means there's like 30% chance that 1 of them booms, and then you have to redo it. I think that's an acceptable chance because it is 4 pieces. Maybe you exclude the weapon, whatever. If there's like 1 item you don't want to run the risk on, that is something you can do. But I wouldn't go beyond 18. That's probably where I would leave Abzo stuff. The items that you want to hard push on when there's a 5, 10, 15 is your CRA stuff. Because the amount of backups you have, you don't have to safeguard. You can just get the trace. So money to gains wise, and even if you switch to Arcane, you keep this. So you can go very hard on this. The other stuff would be your superior earrings that you already have. I don't know if you have backup reinforced.
I do have, I have a picture of my inventory somewhere.
Oh yeah, true.
But I have plenty of reinforced stuff. Just the superior.
Yeah, so no superior. Oh, that's a reinforced earring? That's your drop rate one, right? Yeah. So 4 reinforced backups.
4, yeah. I guess that's not a lot if I'm pushing 20 plus.
No. Like, yeah, and like mathematically. Well, so let's say during 5, 10, 15, we're starting at 0. Let's say you want to get to 21 to transfer into 20, right? Would that be something that you would want to do?
That's probably what I would do. 1 to 20 and then try to tap it to 21 after.
Yeah. Especially now since you can buy a backup, then in worst case scenario you transfer back and you go from 17 to 12 stars on 1 item, which, in the grand scheme of things, is not even that bad.
Yeah, I tried to push 18 stars on a couple items during the 30% off. Bad. I should wait for 5, 10, 15.
Yeah, it's just 5, 10, 15 is just superior for that. It's just it just saves you a lot of heartache and a lot of clicking, because 30% off seems good that everything is cheaper, but it takes you longer to spend your money, so you have less time making your money back as well. So it's like a price. That's a price you're paying without even realizing it.
I had a really bad experience last week.
Yeah, I've tried off event for the first time in a long time on my earring on my arc, and I blew up 1 superior earring and 3 reinforced within like 600 mil, and I was like, nope, we're waiting for an event. And then during the event,
I use this calculator all the time. I love it. Saying something on this.
Really useful, yeah.
Track stuff.
Yeah, so you see the boom stats is not that bad during a 5, 10, 15, even to get to 21 stars. Average of 4, like the median of 2. I mean, one guy got 26, so there's always a chance of getting pretty unlucky. But like 95% chance of people get win at 12, 85 with an 8. You can always buy a backup of either one if you have coins. Yeah.
I've been in that 5 percentile several times.
Yeah, I've been there too. I don't remember what it was, but like the money I spent, I had double this amount, which says like 95% chance within this money, and I was at double that amount, and I didn't have it.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
But then
I wish there was a pity rate or something.
it's a fail stacking, like, oh, just have 2 stars. This is just sad at this point. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. But then I went on the marksman, and I got 3 items from 17 to 21 in 7 bill, so that kind of compensated for it.
The range is huge.
Yeah.
I like to look at the averages and
The average and the median, and then not look at like this guy who just like spends 400 mil, and then the other guy spends 62 bill, and it's like
like my reinforced ring. I was like, okay, I have it at 17. I want to get it to set from 17 to 18 during 30% off. I ran the calculator. It said 1.8 bill with safeguarding. I dumped like 10 bill in it, and it never reached 18 a single time.
Okay.
Still stuck at 17. Ran out of money, so I just left it.
That is not a good time.
Yeah. I'm dreading kind of pushing for 20 plus.
Yeah, so that's why it's a good idea to do that on another item and then transfer over, so that all of that horror is like behind the scenes, and the item itself doesn't have to be like.
Right. You don't risk the item that you're actually using.
Yeah, typically what I do is like 21 into 20 until I have that done with all the items where I want to have it done. And I come into enough money, and there's another 5, 10, 15, and then I try to tap to 21, so that if that doesn't happen,
leave them at 20 for a bit.
Yeah, until you get all the items at that point, because then at least you get to be at 20 for a while, and then again, if one item drops, all the other items can pick up the slack. Because in this way, if you have everything 17 or 18, and then you have 20, but then you blow up at 20, you're back down. You're still your total thing is still 17 to 18. You don't want to go too far off on one item. So like in the same batch of items, I would put like the CRA stuff, pink bean belts, and reinforced earrings, and those you can get like enough backups of to realistically go higher. So if you want to go efficient, you can just go 1 star at a time, like get them all to 18, get them all to 19, get them all to 20, get them all to 21, like that.
Wait, would you transfer CRA from like Penciler, or just do CRA?
CRA straight, because you have enough backup, so you don't have to safeguard anyway. And on the higher stars, and you can do this in the calculator, but on the higher stars, it's always going to be cheaper if you say like, oh, I want to get like 22 star Penciler during 5, 10, 15, and so I have 21 star CRA, so that's 11.3 to 16.4. But if you do 150 and you do 21, instead of 11.3 and 16.4, that's 8.2 and 12.
All right, that extra star adds a lot.
Yeah, because the lower you are, the closer that is, but the higher you go, the cheaper it is to just go on the item itself. But you can only do that realistically if you have near infinite backups, and CRA is the ideal candidate for that.
Right. It's easy to replace.
Exactly. You just transfer trace, boom, you're done. So those would be like main priority for a 5, 10, 15, and saving up for that. Make sure you have enough backups, and the other stuff that so I wouldn't go higher on the Abza. We already talked about that. The other stuff would be like getting enough dineros for backups for the Sweetwater Pendant. For the Superior Galax, it would be just basically sending Dominators during a 5, 10, 15, going for 21, and then transferring that into Superior, as weird as that is. But you have like 4 backups, right?
On my Aran, 4. I think.
Yeah, that's already a very decent chance that you can make it with that, and then you're sitting on a 20-star Superior, right?
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Which that one stays with you for a long time. And then the more problematic and a little bit more tricky situation is the ring situation. You do have backup Meisters, I saw 4 as well. I think.
I got 4 and 7 primals.
Okay, that's really good. That's also going to be a matter. So so historically, I've done my Meisters during a combination of like getting them to 15 in a no boom room, so I don't have to safeguard up to 15, and then holding onto them, like doing 2 or 3 on a single character, and then waiting for a 5, 10, 15 to push them to 21 or 22 then So for the DA, I did 2 21s, and then 1 into Superior and 1 use. And for my Arc, I did 2 to 22, 1 to transfer into 21 Superior and 1 to use. But we haven't had a boom room in a while. So the safest...
Someone was like Celestial.
Yeah, that was the last one, yeah. And we didn't even know that one was really coming. That whole event kind of blindsided everyone. It's like, well, where's this coming from? And then, holy shit, it's so good. It's like, oh, we gotta start training or doing dailies, or holy shit, like, you know, there was so much going on that event.
Yeah. I wish I started playing a month earlier to really take advantage of it.
Yeah, that would have been huge. So your options are main options. I mean, well, whatever the options, like a 21 Meister into a Superior, like that would be definitely a goal, right? How did you get the Superior already to 18? Did you like tap it?
I tapped it. I had enough coins for backup. It was risky, I know. I was raging after the reinforcement. Kind of a tilt star in there.
Rage star forcing always a good way to go. Because I have my bosses soon, so I gotta make sure that we get you sorted. Yeah. So so that's kind of on you. If it's already 18, oh man, it's like, oh, it's only 2 more stars, but like, yeah, as you well know, 1 star could be like 12 mil. So like there's like a super safe way, and then there's the and the safest way is typically the most expensive way. There's the cheapest way, which is the highest risk way, and then there's like a intermediate, right? So that's like what you said with your earrings, is you go like, let's say you want 21 star earrings. The cheapest way is just go 21 on the earring, and then hopefully don't boom it, right? But there's a lot of risk because item to replace, blah blah blah. Like the cost, the cheapest meso cost, but like, you know, the longest time cost. The most expensive but the least risky way would be 22 star reinforced, and then transfer hammered over into the Superior, so you're immediately done. And then the intermediate is what you wanted to do: go 21, transfer to 20, and then tap 20 to 21, because it's always less risky to go from 20 to 21 twice than it is to go from 20 to 22 once. So that kind of logic you will have to apply to the rings as well. Like, do you want to go for a 21 star Superior Gollux ring? In the past, in my situation, it was, well, the only realistic way to do that is getting 22 Meister and transferring it over. Now you could do basically treat the Meister ring as it's your reinforced earring, and the Superior as if it's your your Superior earring. You can treat the solid ring the same way towards the Kana treasure ring. The downside, of course, is solid only goes up to 20, so you could get a guaranteed 19 Kana treasure without having to risk boom the Kana treasure, or you could put more. You could quote unquote just go for 20 star solid and then a 20 or 21 reinforced Gollux. And once you have that, once you have like a 21 Meister, 20 Superior, or 21, whatever you want to go for, 20 or 21 reinforced, and a 20 solid, at that point, the Kana's kind of like free real estate. You can either just send it from 17, or you can get a 20 solid and transfer it over, and then try from 19 on the Kana treasure, maybe get lucky to 20. And then if it goes to 21, it'll just replace the solid, and the solid will become a drop rate or a meso ring. And then those will be your 4 rings, basically.
Okay.
So
that was my idea for the Kana ring. Transfer from solid and then try to tap it, but
yeah, because they are rather cheap to buy from the shop. They're not that expensive, yeah. And with the amount of coins you have, because you took a long.
Yeah, I trade now with Gollux, but still no drops.
Yeah, unfortunate. Let's see if there's any equips that we need to go over extra. Yeah, so specifically for, and then that comes down to if there's so this was like star forcing wise, right? Potential wise, if there are certain let's say there's a cube sale for the items that you know you're going to be transfer hammering over, for those don't work on the potential anymore, they're fine. But for the items that you are going to keep because you're going to star force on the items themselves and blow up and trace whatever, for those you could go hard during a 30% off if you want to.
So that would be like reinforce ring, and then I guess the Meister ring,
Well, reinforced, one you have is drop and the other one would get transferred into the superior, right?
Well, no, I have one Meister ring right now that's upgraded and it has Mesa line. I might reroll that once I get another event ring.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So that could be for the Meister. Specifically, also just CRA, right?
Oh yeah.
If you want to, CRA is expensive to go for 3-line, but there's definitely like the intermediary of like the 24 and the 27% outs with all stat lines, which can be useful.
So perhaps like belts as well. I should just hold the pot.
Yeah.
Since transfer from
Ping Bean, yeah, exactly. It's mainly going to be saving up stuff for 5, 10, 15, and then just like roulette, well, not roulette, but like frog leap, like one at a time through the list as the level of risk increases, basically. So like everything up to 18, cool. Kind of like what you've been doing already, like everything up to 18, cool. And then like highest risk stuff, you drop down. Everything up to 19, cool. Whatever is highest risk there, you fall. Everything to 20, cool. Everything to 21, cool. And you basically just keep working your way up like that.
And instead of full sending on a single item.
Yeah, there's a small upside to full sending on a single item. Like let's say if you full send on your pendant and you get to where you want to go, then you can stop doing your dailies there, for example. Right? So that could be the upside. But is it worth that amount of cost for like the 5 or 10 minutes a day on the daily? Like that's up to you. If you really despise that daily, then you could say like, oh, next time I'm going to work on the pendant and the tattoo, and then when those are done, then I'm going to move on everything else. Like that's totally up to you if you want to do that. But if it's like financially efficient, like getting stronger, gradually dividing your money over your account, then like doing it like that, like one item at a time, 1 star at a time.
Yeah, I'll probably do 1 star like frog leaping. It's just more efficient game. I don't know. Sometimes just with the luck, you get really, really bad luck. And that one item will just never.
Yeah.
Never. But
the more money you have, the more likely you will get to an average outcome. Like for my last event, if I only had 50 bill, then I would have ended up with like 3 items from 17 to 21 on like 50 plus bill, and I would have had like the worst day ever. But I ended up with having like 70 bill, and in the last money I ended up like tripling my gains, and then it all just still became worth it. So yeah, and some people start really lucky and get like super overzealous and then end up getting horribly lucky with the last one. Yeah, it could swing either way. It's a total RNG shit show. So all you just
when do you think the next 5, 10, 15 is? Is it the Neo event?
Neo, so the anniversary for MapleStory had one, which would be our April-May update. So maybe they'll keep that one. Otherwise maybe Neo, which is looking like it's going to be June 6th or June 7th or something. So around there. But I think there'll be one before then, like one in March or April or something, I think.
I really gotta start saving.
Yeah, because now this is where the upgrades start getting really expensive.
Yeah.
Maybe the Kana will get some love after all.
Yeah, I mean, I play Kana basically like a second main at this point. So
Yep.
Could fund it a bit more too.
Yep. Yeah, that's another thing up to you. Like if you feel like the kill speed on the Kana can still use some work, or the invulnerability could use some work on there, then that's something up to you, of course. If you feel like the gains there are still lacking. Well, you have the Mesoptane and the drop, so invulnerability is fine. It's almost 20k stat. Yeah, it's mainly going to be a matter of arcane power, right? If you get the arcane power up, that's when the kill speed will help a lot. It's like the boost nodes are fine. It's mainly just arcane power. So like for events and stuff, I probably grab arcane power buffs on the Kana if you can.
Okay. Yeah.
Just to speed that up a bit. Yeah. Because those rates are killers. Like, oh, you're at 600 area. Oh, you just got 50% more. Just get 900. It's like, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, like Esfera is like 900 to get the max.
Yeah, exactly. It's not yeah. In the beginning, it's like, oh, you go from 40 to 60, like big whoop. You get one level here, and you get a new symbol. You already have more, but yeah, once you're at that point, in Esfera or Celis, yeah, it starts getting pretty big.
Oh, My girlfriend big stream. Do you mind if she says hi?
Yeah, sure. Make sure she doesn't
Hey.
cut out. Hello.
I'm a big fan of Scardor. I got into Maple thanks to my boyfriend, and we play together. And I have like one mate who's like 209, so I am semi-serious.
Okay,
but
okay.
yeah, hi.
Hello. Yeah, that's cute. You guys are playing together. That's not really nice. Don't keep him in line. Don't play too much. Would I say like the couples that game together stay together, right?
I guess so.
As long as I keep it in check. Yeah. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
I think that covers most of it. Maybe like flames. I guess my flames are in an okay spot. They're not the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so since flames don't have a sale, so typically I wait a little bit on those. Like let's say that you have everything like 18, like you have the Abso 18, you have all the other stuff like 20. Maybe before you start pushing from 20 to 21 on most of this stuff, maybe you get the flames a little bit more on point. But again, you'll prioritize the items like the non-Abso at that point, because the Abso are like they're okay. Like that's definitely where you can make some gains. But since the move to Arcane is more and more realistic, you don't want to spend like hundreds of mil or like tens of billions on like min-maxing your Abso flames if you're only going for 17 or 18 star anyway, right? Like if you're going for 21 Abso and you're sticking to those forever, like a year or two ago, yeah, then you go hard on those flames as well, and you go hard on that potential. But for now, it's just that's going to be a huge mismatch. So it'd probably be better to like maybe get a little bit higher on the hat, maybe a little bit higher on the top, you know. The Pink Bean Cup is already really good, but like try to get like the Pink Bean Cup level. That's like ideal, of course, but like for your CRA, try to get closer to that. And then the only other thing that you can really get like a better flame on, well, you mainly just you want to get that arcane weapon and go hard on that.
Yeah, that's true. Most of my flame advantage stuff is around 80 score, like end game score, but I realize how much harder going for 100 plus was. Like I got lucky on my cup, the Pink Cup, and then like the cape is 100 plus, but like the Dominator pendant took me like so much, and I just settled for, I think I transposed that 103 I gave this game.
103? Yeah, that's pretty close.
My guild was ragging on for that because they all go for 115 plus, but
other people will, and if you're star forcing, other people will say like, oh, 21 is free, 22 is free. Like make sure you make your own decisions. It's your money, you put the work in, so you get to decide. And people will always say that if you get to 22, people say 23 is free. Like they don't stop. That doesn't stop anyway. So you're never gonna you're never gonna make them happy anyway. So the only way you're gonna make them happy is you blow it up. That's when they'll be happy. So
because it's their entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's painfully obvious for me when streaming. It's like it's like do the thing, streamer man. Do the crazy things we wish we would do. And then we don't have to have the consequences, but we can laugh at you for actually doing the things we said you. Exactly. So.
Okay, I think that covers everything. I mean, well, event rings. I'm going for the Master SS ring.
Yep.
That's the last one technically, and then I can re-roll my Meister ring to just be damaged. But.
Yep.
I don't know. Is there value? I could go for like all of the event rings and just make extra drop rings, I guess, for bossing, but
yeah, so you'll have 5/5, right? You'll have 5 meso, 5 drop because of the 1 double item. If you have that when you're mobbing, you could go for like 9 or like 10 lines of drop, and no, because it's a split item, right? It's 20 boss, 20 meso, yeah. So 10 lines of drop from your equips is the max that will happen at all. More doesn't stack. So some people do go for like a full set of 9 drop items and then 1 with a double line. for like the end of Lucid for the box and everything. But for all of the important bosses, the main thing it can give you is just more soul shards, more flames, more cubes. It does help.
It doesn't affect like Papmark or
No.
Gollux?
Not superior, not Papmark, not arcane drops, not superior, not superior drops, yeah, not Abso drops, like none of those more important ones. It'll be soul shards, cubes, flames, that kind of stuff. So
do consumables affect those drops at all? Legion luck?
No, those affect the same things that the drop rate from your equips will affect. It stacks in the same way.
Not a ton of value there.
No, so for me it was good value because I want to go to 8K Legion and I want to make sure that all the characters get a baseline of funding. So I get a lot of flames, a lot of cubes that I can just throw onto the next character and start funding those, and then slowly bring those character up to also become like a bossing mule and do CRA with, and maybe even do Lotus and Damien with if I like it. But if you don't have the aspirations to do that, you don't want to spread yourself too thin with too many characters, then all of that value is kind of just, all of those flames, and the flames will get used for a while, but like if everything's legendary, like what do you do with Master Craftsman cubes now if you get them?
Right. Well, I transfer them to mules and try to cube with epics,
Yeah. So
Right.
you'll basically have that, but basically every week I think I get around 60 or something at this point. It's a lot, but yeah, at a certain point, I don't know what I'm gonna do, like, because now I'm tearing up all my characters and like all my, but I have like 3 characters to go. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all the Master Craftsman cubes after that. I think try to get emblems and secondaries to unique, I guess. Like I don't know what else there is at that point. Yeah, so there's like there is a top off, but that could be so far down the line that it's still worth for you. So that's something you have to decide. You do see a difference though, like on the characters that have like 180 or 200% drop rate, or just in equips and plus all the buffs, and you open like the boxes for Hard Lucid and Hard Will, you get the drops. You get like 6 or 7 cubes just from one boss, versus if you just have like, well, just 100, quote unquote. Like you have 100, you have the 50% line. You can get a Legion drop coupon that stacks with it. That's still like over 200%. So, yeah.
Yeah, I see your Max Soul events.
yeah. The soul shards. Yeah, you can swing your big E dick around with giant amounts of magnificent souls if that's what you want to do. Yeah.
I was very jealous.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was just ridiculously lucky. Just one after the other, and then it was like foreshadowing for the Lotus. Like, let's see if we can just build up the anticipation, and everyone's like, "Don't do it, don't you dare."
That was wild.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the But I guess that's your decision on there. I think eventually, as long as you get the 5/5 set done, I think there's definitely value in if you have just one main character to go for that set, with like full drop. But I wouldn't do that on too many characters. So yeah, do the maths on how many rings you need. Probably like 10 rings total or something, depending on which ones have mezzo, which ones have drop, that kind of thing.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Well,
Probably
you already
won't
have.
go that far.
Well, you have 7 already, right? The 8th one is coming.
That's true. Yeah, 8th one, Master SS.
Yeah.
I do one more.
Then you
Because
have
I'm also working on my Kana's rings. I have like a set of full drop gear on my Kana, but some of it's damage gear, so like Kana ring and like a reinforced ring, using those. So, I might want to swap them out for actual damage if I take my Kana more seriously. I want to be like bossing support or something.
Yeah. And you can rely there on the HP and MP lines a little bit more to give you some damage. That's always nice. All right. I have my Hard Lucid and Hard Will boss fight. So if there's nothing more, don't want to kick you out, but it was already kind of tight planning to get you in on Saturday.
Yeah. That covers everything I wanted to talk about.
Okay. If anything else comes to mind, just hit me up on Discord. If it's like a big question, if it's a smaller question, you can always ask in the Twitch chat, and then I'll do my best to help you out. Oh yeah, and as always, keep an eye out for Wondroid and Dark Lords of Darkness. I have to say that at the end of of everyone. Yeah, it's we're just keeping our fingers crossed. Oh yeah, we could both use some Dark Doom totems. Yeah.
I'm dying for those. I want them so bad.
Fingers crossed. All right, yeah, I'll upload it to YouTube so you can watch it back. You and your girlfriend can listen to how you sound on a recording. That's
Sure,
always
I'll hate
interesting to hear yourself.
Yeah.
And
right.
I'll see you around.
Yes, thank you.
All right, good luck on the next 5, 10, 15. You'll probably need it.
Yes.
We all will. Right. Yes, bye. See ya. All right, cool. Yeah, a lot of rework already. I wanted to get into the other stuff first to make sure that the baselines were all covered, but yeah, this guy already knew pretty much everything that was going on, everything about IED, everything about all that stuff, so didn't want to probably wasted a little bit too much time there, so that's a little bit on me, so wanted to get to the equips. He said, like, whatever you want to do, but hey, he's the paying customer, okay? You get to decide what you want to talk about, okay? If you just want to hear me talk for an hour and a half, like, we could do that as well, but, I mean, I guess technically, if what he wants to do is want to make it up to me, and then I could just talk about whatever. But yeah, I have boss fights now. So as always, thanks for watching. Hope it was a little bit educational, hopefully a little bit entertaining, and or thanks for listening if you're using this as a podcast, I guess. If you want one of these sessions, check the description of the video. Also, there is a link if you want to submit any data, monster kills per hour, and how to get that with the Veteran Hunter Medal Challenge. Battle analysis or training videos in Moonbridge and up, send them to me, and I use them as input for my class grid to make sure that we can give a accurate representation for new players on how the classes will play in certain stages of the game, so they can have a better chance of picking a main that they will actually enjoy playing. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.